Hey guys, Ethan here with Family Handyman. So we're out in New Mexico and we're starting to conceptualize our backyard seating area. The easiest way to do this is to break it into 4 elements. You got your benches and your wall accents made out of composite decking, our gabion baskets, and lastly our architectural boxes. The natural place to start is with the gabion baskets. You might ask yourself, why are these guys in a landscape supply yard? And I'll tell you why, because we're picking out stones. When you're picking out stones, you want to think of size, texture, and color. For our project, we used 6 to 12 inch granite river rock, and there's a method to putting these things in the baskets. Let's get started. So the gabion boxes come flat packed on a pallet. There's 4 of them here. It's got tops and bottoms. First thing we're gonna do is put the sides and the bottom together, and then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll fill it with the 3 tons of rocks that just got dropped off in the driveway. We started by assembling the wire gabion baskets, which was pretty simple. After you install your spiral binding wire, we have the C-rings, and it comes with a fancy little tool. You just put them on there and crimp. So we got the first gabion box placed. It's level underneath. This is a very important part because it determines the position of the rest of the wall. Now it is time to start adding our river rocks. To ensure your boxes look as attractive as possible, start by facing the best looking stones towards the outside of the baskets. As you build up the baskets, use the cutoff and lesser stones to fill the inside void. As we continued vertically, we added wire and corner supports every foot or so to ensure the gabion baskets won't lose its shape when filled with heavy rocks over time. When we reached the top of the gabion basket, we again used our best looking stones to cap off the top. So now we face the top of the gabion basket. We wanted to keep it an inch or 2 tall just to accommodate settling in the future. We're going to fold this down, followed by securing the top wire panel with spiral connectors, C-clamps, and 12 gauge wire. For the remaining gabion baskets, follow the same process, but we will hold off on the fire pit gabion until the seating area is complete. Next step here is going to be some composite decking benches and some hardy board walls. First thing we're going to do to take care of this corner is we're going to have to fur out this wall to give us a nice even angle so we're going to have something square to attach that hardy board wall to. We wanted our architectural walls to ebb and flow with the surrounding backyard, so we chose a design that could be achieved by framing simple, rigid boxes using standard wall frame construction. These are exterior installations, so we used green treated lumber and deck screws. Once the boxes were framed, we leveled and attached them to the existing walls using concrete anchors and moved forward with sheathing. Now that we got the framing up for our architectural boxes, it's time to add sheathing. We're going to use some flashing tape in order to keep moisture from getting into the seams anywhere, especially on the bottom. To sheathe our boxes, we used zip system sheathing panels and wrapped and rolled the edges with flashing tape to keep moisture from wicking into the end grain of the panels and swelling. This is especially important where the walls meet the ground. Since we are all set up for framing, we decided to jump to framing our composite decking benches. Just like our architectural boxes, we used green treated 2x4s and deck screws. We're getting to the point where we're setting our rim joists, and when you have a hard angle like this in a corner, a really easy trick is to take your speed square, put it in the corner, make your marks, connect them to the corner on the top and on the bottom board. We then framed 4 identical top and bottom plates for our benches. We stuck these plates in the corner to make sure the miter was nice and tight when pressed against the wall. We started cutting our lengths for our bench framing when Mother Nature stepped in and surprised us all with a late spring snowfall. Rather than roll around in the wet, muddy ground, we pivoted to applying the hardy panels to our architectural boxes. Because of their awkwardness and brittleness, we found this easiest to do by setting up a skill saw with an approved hardy blade and cutting the pieces out on a set of sawhorses. Once cut, we applied our panels using approved ring shank nails, making sure to stay away from the edge as not to fracture the panels. After that, we figured out our ideal bench height and cut studs to toe screw into the top and bottom plates using 3-inch construction screws. This is easiest done on a workbench or a set of sawhorses. Simply toe screw all of the studs in one of the plates. Once finished, flip the plate with attached studs over onto a second plate, align and toe screw the studs in the second plate. Repeat this exact process to finish the bench framing. Add joist tape to the top of both sides of the bench framing. This will keep any moisture that slips between our cladding from soaking into our green treated 2x4 framing. Now it's time to clad. We chose the same maintenance-free composite decking from Trex that we used on our boardwalk to keep continuity throughout the backyard project. We started on the left side of our bench so we could tackle the folded waterfall edge. Start with the deck board longer than the height and width of the bench combined. We measured the height of our bench plus the thickness of our composite decking and marked our deck board. It's a good idea to give yourself a little extra 1/2 inch here, and you can trim that off at the end. Next, with the 2-inch V-groove bit in our router, we set up a fence using speed squares so that the point of the V-groove would route directly on top of our line. Then we made 4 passes with the V-groove bit, lowering it slightly each time until the point of the bit was under 1/8 inch from the face of the composite decking. At this point, it's time to start heating the face of the decking and slowly bend it over until you've achieved a tight miter fold. Attach the cladding board with composite decking screws and plugs so that the miter is tight. Then finish it off by trimming the excess from the bottom of the bench. Now that the waterfall edge is complete, we place both sides of our bench in place and level them before attaching them to our architectural boxes. We then attach the front cladding to our benches using screws and plugs and working from the bottom up, ripping the last composite decking board to fill the remaining gap. Now it's time to move on to the composite decking wall accents. We started by fastening green treated 2x4 to the cinder block walls using Tafcons. We pre-wrapped the top and sides of these 2x4s with joist tape to protect them from moisture. We started securing our composite decking boards using starter clips and hidden fasteners until we reached the final board, locking it all together with screws and plugs. The last step for the wall accents is to rip one last board to cap off the end and give it a finished look. And then it was time to put the finishing touches on our architectural boxes by caulking, filling, and painting them. No matter if you want to hang out by the fire or read your favorite book on the bench, this seating area turned out fantastic. The gabion baskets, architectural boxes, and composite decking benches make this a durable, low maintenance, and welcoming environment wherever your backyard may be. For more great backyard ideas, visit us at familyhandyman.com.